All right, here we are on the last video of lesson 14, and we're going to be working on area model. So you can see I have my area model up. Hopefully you have your area model in your dry erase sleeve or on page 133, and you're ready to work along with me. Be sure you do so that you can show me the notes. Very important. Okay, so how can an area model help us when we multiply whole numbers? Well, we used area models when we multiplied whole numbers in August, and they help us break things apart, right? So that we can look at the factors by place value. And that helps us to multiply the individual parts and just multiply in a different way, right? So today we are going to multiply fractions. So we're going to be multiplying, sorry, not fractions, decimals. So we're going to be multiplying 8 times 3 and 24 hundredths. Okay, so we're going to put this onto our area model, and we're going to have to break apart the 3 and 24 hundredths by place value. Okay, so let's look at the 3 and 24 hundredths. Do you see there's 3 ones there? And 2 tenths and 4 hundredths, right? Now we're going to be multiplying by the 8. So let's put 8 over here, right? And then the one that we're breaking apart, we're going to put over here. Let's put 3 ones, and let's write it by unit form. So please make sure that you're writing that down on your area model so that I can see your work. 3 ones, sorry for the sloppy writing, and 2 tenths. I'm just going to put a T, 2 tenths, and then 4 hundredths, right? 4 hundredths. Okay, so then we're multiplying by 8. So we have our 8 over here, and we can use unit form thinking to help us find the area of each part, right? So what is 8 times 3 ones? 8 times 3 ones? 8 times 3 is 24, right? And that would be 24 ones. We're going to make sure that we're thinking about our place value, right? 24 ones, okay? And then 2 tenths times 8 would be 16 tenths. And 4 hundredths times 8 would be 32 hundredths, right? Okay, so now we have our partial products, and we need to write those in standard form. Okay, so in standard form, 24 ones is the same as 24, right? Thinking about naming it by our last digit here. So it is 2 tens and 4 ones, or 24 ones. 16 tenths, once again, 6 is in the tenths place, right? Because we name it by our last digit. So 16 tenths happens to be 1 and 6 tenths. And 32 hundredths, 3 tenths and 2 hundredths, because we name it by the last place. So 32 hundredths. Okay, and then we just need to put all of those together, and we will have our answer. So 24, be very careful with your place value, right? We learned this in our last unit, that when we're adding decimals, we need to make sure that our decimals and our place values are lined up. So if 4 is in the ones place and 1 is in the ones place, then I want to put my 1 right under the 4 and then put my 6 tenths next door. And then here's my decimal, here's my 32 hundredths. So I'm going to put a 0 and a 3 in the tenths place and a 2 in the hundredths place. You see that? And I can go ahead and put in decimals and zeros here if I want. I can also just know that 0 is nothing, so it's the same thing, right? And then I'm going to add it together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 3 is 9. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 2 plus nothing is 2. So my answer is 25 and 92 hundredths. You see how I broke it apart by place value and then multiplied it. That's how I can use an area model, right, to multiply. It's also the distributive property because I'm breaking it apart and then I'm multiplying it. So let me show you the distributive property. I'm going to clear that off. Of course, if you still need it to copy it down in your book, you are welcome to pause the video and watch it there. But I wanted to show you this distributive property. 8 times 3 and 2400ths, what we just did. You see 8 times 3, right? 8 times 3 is 24. And then 8 times 2 tenths is 1 6/10. The decimal got a little bit lost there. 1 6/10. And 8 times 400ths is 32 hundredths. And then they added it all up together and got our same answer, 25 and 92 hundredths. So we're looking at two methods right now. One is break apart and distribute, and the other is the area model, and they are related. But you see how we're distributing the 8. We're giving it out to each of the parts. Do you see that? Because we broke this apart, and then we're distributing. Distributing means to give out. Okay? All right. Let's do one more for practice, and then we will be done with lesson 14. Thanks for watching. Okay, here's 78 hundredths times 9. Okay, so first of all, if we were going to break it apart and distribute it, we would multiply both parts by 9, right? Because we're going to multiply our decimal parts by our whole number. So it would be 9 times 7 tenths plus 9 times 8 hundredths, right? We're just breaking it apart into 7 tenths and 8 hundredths, and you could multiply those and then add them together. If you want to put parentheses to help you see the two separate operations, that's fine. We're also using our area model. We're multiplying everything times 9, and then we have 7 tenths and 8 hundredths. I wrote it in standard form. You could also write it in unit form. 7 tenths, write out the word tenths. 8 hundredths, write out the word hundredths. So 7 tenths times 9 would be how many tenths? 7 times 9 is 63, right? 63 tenths. 63 tenths is the same as 6 and 3 tenths. Remember, it's named after the last digit. And then 8 hundredths times 9. Well, 8 times 9 is 72, right? Getting our good practice on our multiplication. 72 hundredths and 72 hundredths looks like this, because as we know, it's named by the last digit, right? If the 2 is in the hundreds place, then this is 72 hundredths. Okay, before I forget, I wanted to tell you the last word in your puzzle today. What did the triangle say to the circle? You're pointless. You're pointless. Aw, that wasn't a very nice thing to say. Don't tell your friends. It's only for people who are watching the videos. Okay, then we're going to add it together. 6 and 3 tenths plus 72 hundredths, right? We break it apart, we multiply, and then we put it back together. And make sure that you're lining things up, right? That's what we learned in our last topic B, right? That we have to have our decimals lined up, our tenths lined up, our hundredths lined up. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 7 is 10. I'm going to put down the 0, carry the 1. It's going over to the 1's place. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 and 2 hundredths. Okay? Awesome job. Now you know how to multiply decimals using 3 different ways, right? You can use the area model. You can use the place value chart, and you can use the number line. If you have any questions, please make sure that you asked. Move on to your must do.